Hey, good evening to the Crush fans out there. This is Bill McConnell, the head coach and general manager of the Cortland Crush, the New York Collegiate Baseball League, here with a Crush cast to be aired with a very special guest and former Crush alum. And this is Wes Burghardt. Good evening, Wesley. How you doing, man?
Coach Mac, doing good. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Well, the one things we wanted to have you is we wanted to celebrate the announcement from a week ago of the legacy that you left at the College of Brockport, and that was being named for the SUNYAC, State University of New York Athletic Conference Baseball All-Decade Team. So congratulations, Wes. What an honor and a legacy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well earned. And some of your accolades I'll read out here for our fans out there. Wes, a career 341 hitter. I remember all the time you worked at the cage studying the opposing pitchers, and what can you say about that? But a three-time all-conference first selection team for the Golden Eagles as a second baseman. So what a legacy. We've talked about the word legacy in the past. You and I have had quite a relationship over the past 10 years, probably. So what do you think about that as a legacy that you've left behind for somebody to chase?
Yeah, I mean, the personal accolades are obviously there. My biggest goal when I went to college was I wanted to go somewhere where I could play and where I could win. We had great teams throughout my career. We didn't really leave with any hardware, so to say. We had a couple of good seasons where we were right there. My senior year, we were getting nationally ranked votes for the first about 10 games. We were beating teams by 15 runs every time we went out, so that was great. But yeah, so just the legacy of as a player is I feel like I accomplished everything I wanted to there. I wish we could have won a little bit more, and it's just the way it crumbles sometimes. But yeah,
well, you certainly had great offensive teams, and I'm going to bring in a guest right now that might talk about you and the offensive strategies there. So I'd like to welcome in head coach of College of Brockport, Justin Beach. And Coach, welcome this evening. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. And obviously we're here to celebrate the legacy that Wesley established at Brockport, the College of Brockport, your legacy in your 18th year as your head coach right now, having come from Hudson Valley to Brockport as a player, staying as a general or grad assistant and interim coach. And here you are. It doesn't seem like 20 years have passed that quickly, does it?
Goes fast, Coach. It sure does.
Well, welcome. So we have the Crush shirt covered tonight. We've got Brockport, the family, your new one in there. But Wes and I were just talking about, his impressions of a legacy. What do you have to say, with Wes here now okay, he wants to hear it from you. He didn't know anybody was coming on, but the legacy he left and his colleagues.
Yeah, obviously. Well, first off, hey, Wes, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Your hair looks good. Look at you, man. You're aging well.
He looks like an SU basketball player haircut.
He looks good, doesn't he?
Yep.
But no, listen, I think it's evident that, Wes has certainly left a legacy here at Brockport with some of the accolades that he certainly had during his time. Well deserved on the SUNYAC all-decade team. This kid, he flat out mashed, right? We both knew it from the moment we saw him. That he's a pure hitter, and he's probably, if not the best, one of the best pure hitters that we ever had here at Brockport. But he was just a hitter too. I think his athleticism, his ability to be a great teammate. I was actually while I was thinking about Wes, I wrote down like a couple of words that really I thought of when I think of Wes. I always thought Wes was really tough. And when I mean tough, like this kid would have the longest at-bats. He would have the toughest at-bats, and everybody knew he was the guy that they were trying not to let beat them. And he still, didn't matter what pitcher it was, he'd have the best at-bats, the toughest at-bats of the year. Even when I think of my best memories of Wes, he left on top. Wes probably remembers his last opportunity to play in a Brockport uniform and the SUNYAC tournament. And the kid was locked in, and everything that they were throwing up there, he was putting a barrel on it. And he had some of the probably the most clutch, tough at bats I could ever think of at Brockport. And another one of your CNY guys I think of there is Coach Gianni with tough at bats, and Wes was right there with him, and they both are. I don't know what you were doing there at CNY Thunder, but you guys were teaching these guys how to have some tough at bats, and they're really gritty. You know, I think Wes was really gritty. He was a hustler. He was a winner. You know, all these words I just kind of wrote down and just came to my head when I think of Wes. And I think that's the legacy he certainly left here. And guys are certainly trying to live up to his name.
Well, and you know, Justin, you mentioned a couple things here. He left with an incredible legacy, third all time with 184 career hits and tied for second with 108 RBIs. When you say mashing, that's mashing. You know, you're first with single season hits of 60 in 2016. You rank fifth with career doubles. And you're also seventh on all time with 152 career games. So you're talking about that toughness. So Wes, what do you have to think about, you know, all those numbers now as you look back 4 years in the past here?
Yeah, well, first, thanks for the kind words, Coach Beach. It's kind of funny. I actually haven't talked to Coach Beach in a while until this accolade came out. And then actually today I reached out to him again because I was buying a shirt to support the program, and I donate obviously as well. So it's just one of those things, you know, you pay it back, and I don't know, it's just nice to see everyone here. But yeah, just to kind of go back there, I would say, like, I just wanted to kind of keep bouncing back. It starts, like Coach Beach said, the CNY Thunder, Mike Gianni. You know, this is where I met Coach Mack, and it's one of those things where I feel like I wouldn't have had such a career if it wasn't for the people that I met. That's really what it comes down to. Coach Mack, I played with him since I was probably in 10th grade. All through those years, Mike Gianni was a great Brockport player as well. I played with him there. And it's just one of those things where I had a great career, but I'm fortunate to have met the people that I met to be able to get to where I wanted to be. So,
well, and speaking of people, we've brought two other fans and brotherhoods.
What's up, dude?
How many guys are going to pop in here tonight? But we have now Coach Paul Ludden, just recently announced head coach at Cazenovia College. So congratulations, Paul. And Paul served as an opponent for 2 years and also as a teammate for 2 years, along with a summer at Crush. And then we have the one and only Greg Jasek. I don't recognize him with the beard there, who's been with Wesley since the Chittenango Little League days, and also was quite a pitcher, first baseman, and hitter in the Liberty League. So, guys, welcome aboard tonight.
Thanks for having me,
Coach. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, when we brought you in there, you know, Paul, you served as an opponent for 2 years. So, as an opponent coming to Brockport after seeing the West first time, what impressions did you leave with the next time you were going to meet them in the following season?
Oh, I think, Greg, I think you remember. I think when we played West, I think it was my freshman year, he had like 5 hits against us in Florida, something stupid. But obviously I knew Wes was a really good player, and something about Wes that really stood out to me, and I'll never forget, was Wes was one of the first people that came up to me when I transferred to Brockport. So I was really appreciative of that. He had kind of talked to Greg because obviously me and Greg were teammates at Clarkson. He just was very welcoming and was just saying that they were really excited to have me join the program. And that was kind of the first person, you know, on the team that had said something like that to me. So I thought that was really cool. And then Wes and I quickly became friends. And then he made my life a lot easier hitting behind him because he was always on base. And then I ended up having a pretty good junior year just because, you know, Wes and Tiff were always hitting in front of me, and those two guys were always on. So Wes was probably one of the best hitters I've ever played with, for sure.
And Paul, you talk about your junior year. You were first team all region and a couple other accolades there. So that was a very strong team. So now, Greg, did you have anything to assist with those 5 hits in Florida? And I remember looking at that game that day. So obviously, did you give any tips, or did you tell your fellow pitchers, give them one right down the middle?
Yeah, I definitely didn't say give him one right down the middle. We were always smack talking back and forth, but, you know, always obviously rooting for each other. Not outwardly when we were facing each other in college, But it was always nice to see if Wes had a good game, shoot him a text after the game and say, great job out there. Can't wait till next year. Unfortunately, they got the better of us. They beat Clarkson a couple more times than we beat Brockport. But it was always good, entertaining games, and somehow Wes always seemed to hurt us. But I always remember the high school days a little bit better because sometimes when you're in college, I want to block out those days when Wes has 5 hits against you a little bit. So I just think back to the all the hits that he had in high school, especially, and his 580 average. I mean, whoever hits 580 in high school, nobody, but Wes did. So a lot of great memories with him at the dish.
Well, good. So Wes, let's turn it over to you. You've had 2 new guys come into the Crush Cast here, thinking it was just you and me. So you got 4 on 1 here. So why don't you talk a little bit about those years playing with Paul and Greg in a moment or two?
Yeah, well, playing against Greg, the first thing that for some reason comes to my mind is I remember we were playing Clarkson. I think it might have been my senior year, and my first 2 at bats, I was getting flustered at this pitcher. I felt like the strike zone was humongous. I couldn't get on base to save my life. Finally, it's grinding. My I think it's my 3rd at bat. I finally get on base, and Greg's playing first base, and I just like that. And I look at Greg, and he goes, "It's about time," because I could not get on base to save my life. So I just love that moment. I'll never forget that. But yeah, just playing with Greg and Paul, it's just one of those things. If you surround yourself with, I feel like hitting is contagious. You surround yourself with competitors like them, those types of people find ways to get on base, get hits, and get wins. And it's just so many good memories with both of them. I remember when Paul came to Brockport. Yeah, I was very welcoming. I just knew of him from his Clarkson days. I knew he was a good teammate. I knew he was a good player, and it was great to have him. He hit behind me, I think, for a bit, and I think he ended up hitting second.
Yeah, so I think towards the end of the year.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. Just like Paul said, we were always, whoever was in front was on base, and it was great to play with them. And obviously, Greg I played with since I was 9 years old, won a million games. Everyone always asks me what my favorite baseball memory is. Everyone assumes it's like these crazy games I may have played in, but honestly, it's just playing with some of my best friends. That's really what it comes down to, especially with Greg in high school. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but Greg's the best man in my wedding. So just to be able to go through my life with someone who's basically been there the whole time, it's really special.
Now remember, Coach Pete said you're a tough guy to get out, so no mushiness here tonight. So no mushiness.
Yeah, it's telling everybody how much grit you have, and then you're getting mushy here.
Yeah. So Justin, Coach Beach, in those years of 2013 to 16, your teams had 20+ wins every year. You went to the SUNYAC finals and the semifinals 3 out of those 4 years. Any special memories on those teams, or a memory of Wesley?
I mean, he was the catalyst of those teams. Like I said, people were. He was our 4-year guy. We had a lot of guys that transferred in, like Paul. Jasek should have, but he didn't. Clarkson kept him somehow. I don't know why, but Coach Kane's a good guy. So we won't hold that against him, right? But no, he was our catalyst, and when he went, we went. We had a lot of good hitters around him in some of our really good years. But we got that. Wes got that mojo, right? He, in his senior year, he got that mojo going again, and he was the guy, man. He was the guy, and it was fun to be around. It really was almost like what happened there when he didn't get a barrel. Like when Wes didn't get square up a baseball, it was almost like what happened there? Like, was everything okay? But you just almost expected it every time he came up. And one thing I'll say about Wes and the number of hits he had at Brockport, he should be our all-time hit leader, but our all-time hit leader was a left-handed hitter who flat out could run. And Wes, he earned every hit he got. You guys know what I'm saying, right? Like he didn't get any cheap hits. Like did you have any bunt for hits? Probably not. Like Wes, he earned every one. So, I know it was fun. Obviously, you look back at some of these memories, and I know you guys are probably feeling this right now, not having baseball and COVID and everything. It's just like, you almost reminisce a little bit more because you have the time. And it's great to hear from old players and see guys like Ludden getting head coaching jobs, and it's fun to see that. It really is.
Well, one of the things, uniquely enough here, we have 3 Crush alums on here, and Wes is wearing one of his Cortland Crush shirts there. Wes, do you have any the best moment as a Crush your 2 summers there?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably my favorite moment ever was when our rivalry with the Salt Cats and the
Yes.
game we were losing 2-0, and then I hit that grand slam in like the 7th or 8th inning to win it 4-3. And that night we all got together. We had a blast just as a team. There were probably like 20 of us, and it was just one of those moments where it was just like that was another team where it was like we had guys who wanted to win. Like you get in summer ball, you have some guys. I know our first year, we had some guys who, as you kind of get burnt out when you have a younger team. And I feel like this team was more veterans. We've been there once. We knew what to expect. And this team knew how to win, and we wanted it. And just that win was awesome. It was most fun. My favorite memory by far. And just the team bonding after. And we got guys, Luke Gilbert, Brockport, Ben Barnes went to Brockport. We had some Brockport guys on there. Another thing, you play ball with these guys for not just one summer, a couple seasons, and getting close to them. And yeah, that game was just unreal, and just the memories after, also just the team bond. I'm still in touch with some of those guys. Nate Verse, talked to him. George Holland, talked to him. Follow some of these guys on social media. That was just one of those games and one of those moments that I'll never forget.
Well, I agree with you. That is one of my most favorite moments, and I was at third base coaching, and I just had that feeling. And it was a rocket line drive over the Beaudry Park left field scoreboard, and when you came around and you lifted the whole team, and the Salt Cats had nothing to come back with there. Now for Paul and Greg, I can remember Paul. One of the funniest moments in the Crush is when I found out you lost a tooth in hockey. We had a picture with you, and then
Yeah.
Greg, you had an outstanding first year and suffered your season-ending injury to your arm there. What moments do you bring back in those years together?
Paul, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. Probably the coolest moment for me was when we clinched the East Division title. And correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, but I think we set the regular season win record too.
We did, and you still have it. Yep.
Yeah. So that was a really cool night. Something I'll never forget about that team. Kind of like what Wes said, and a lot of it has to do with you, Coach. Is just how well everybody on the Crush kind of came together, and you always preached the term teamship, which I had never heard before, but that was something that I really liked. So just being able to break the regular season win record and then clinch that 1 seed, that was just a lot of fun. And it was really cool because that was something that you just preached the entire summer, day in, day out, just having consistent effort and just coming together as a team. And then when we finally achieved that goal, it felt really good. So that was probably it for me. And like Wes said, I still keep in really close contact with a lot of those guys. I talk to Luke a lot. George, Steve, all those UMass guys, those guys roomed with me. So I'm naturally a little bit closer to those guys. But we all talked about having a Crush reunion at some point once all the COVID stuff is over, just because we still talk that much. So it was a really special summer for me.
We'll do that in June of 21. How about you, Greg?
Yeah, so Wes stole my story to start off with a little bit. I was going to bring up the time that he hit that home run off the scoreboard, and he left out a few details about what was said in the moments after, and where his bat ended up after his bat flip was over. But I'm not sure there was any person on that Crush team that was not 100% invested in that game and was not 100% happy and just elated to be part of the team and a part of that celebration. As Wes is rounding the base, everybody's running out of the dugout, jumping on him, smiling, having a good time, laughing. So those were the best on-field memories, I've got to say. That and Zeph and Cash with a couple of monster walk-off home runs that were
oh my God, yes.
Too. But I've got to say, some of the best memories that I've got, some of the most memorable times were just being with the team. Cortland Crush is a lot about being it's a lot about being part of a family. And you really feel that when you're a part of the Cortland Crush, and you just feel this tightness, this bond with all the brothers that you're there with for the entire summer. And I don't think that happens on any other team. That's certainly not happened on any other summer team that I've been a part of. You know, you spend 4 years with people in college, and you know, you're still close there, but there's no other summer team that's like the Cortland Crush in that respect, in my opinion.
Well, thank you. And Paul, if I see at Casanova College teamship, I do have a fee for that. Okay. So, all right.
Sounds good.
Listen, Wes, I got one more person to let in here. Okay. And here they come. So we could talk about Wesley Burghardt and there we go. So Jeanette, welcome. Good evening. Long time no see. Can you hear us?
Hi.
Hey, hello there. How you doing?
Good. How are
So-
you?
Good. Well, listen,
So our-
obviously we have some teammates and former coaches on here, but of course, family is first and foremost. You know, obviously Wesley was selected to the SUNYAC All Decade team, the accolades. Two of what we didn't talk about was a two-time American baseball coaches all region selection, including the first team in your senior year. You know, the pride and all the stuff you've done for your family over time, you must be very, very proud.
We are. Art's on speaker with us. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello,
Yes.
here I
Okay.
am.
Can you hear Art?
he
Yeah.
sounds like he's on the North Pole.
Oh, in East Syracuse.
Okay,
Oh,
but Art, good evening, and Jeanette, good evening, and obviously we wanted to honor. You know, we do a Cortland Crush cast periodically, part of our legends, and you know, all three of the players here have legacies of their own with the Crush and their own college seasons and where they are in life. So it all comes from the parents too. So in that long journey from that first coach pitch to the last pitch at Brockport, do you have one favorite moment that you can pick out from those 20 years of baseball?
wow.
I know, right?
Yeah.
How come we didn't get these questions ahead of time?
Well, little surprise.
Yeah.
So
I don't really have one. I guess like a home run.
okay.
I can remember a lot, so many just awesome things. I remember being in Florida for the spring training, those games, Brockport being down in the game, and this is a good one. We're down in the game. Wesley driving in a couple runs, and we're running out of time. It's a time game. It's starting to rain. Chris Davis is up after Wesley. Wesley drove in the go-ahead run, and Chris Davis has to get out so that we can finish the game because of time. And he did not want to go out. He wanted to get ahead. And the coach is making him, and I think he made him strike out so that we could end the game. That was a great one.
Well, that's all part of strategy. And, you know, certainly as somebody in the sidelines, getting to know your family, you both were very, very supportive of, you know, his college career, his summer. You both were, you know, board of directors and volunteers for the Cortland Crush, and we thank you for that too. So, but Wes, what do you have? I mean, you're the son, and your parents are on here tonight. A little thing, so hopefully we don't get too mushy here because we already know Greg is the best man. We got a little mushy there. Coach Beach said he's a tough grinder. So, what do you have, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be where I am, like I said, with you, with Coach Beach, with Greg and Paul, people who pushed me. But obviously, I wouldn't be probably half the hitter if it wasn't for my parents, who not only did they drive me to New Jersey for our Thunder tournament, they got a motor home and went to all of my games at Brockport, but they also, my mom basically just gifted half of the basement. And you know her, she's a big storage lady. Basement to make a full fatty. And that's where I feel like that was the difference between me just being an average player and having the success that I did. I never had to worry about not having the resources to be successful. They would do anything they could to put me in a position to be successful. And I'm very, 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 very fortunate, very lucky to have parents like them, because Yeah, I really don't think I'd be where I am without them. And it's just more than baseball too, in life too. They're always there for advice. I live at this point. I bought a house down the road from them. So just people who always have my back, people who are always in my corner, doing anything they can to help me be successful. So, yeah, I feel like this whole Zoomcast thing kind of got mushy because it's one of those things where you get all these people who are so important in your life in one spot, and you start, oh, I'm so fortunate to have them, so fortunate to have Greg, so fortunate to have Coach Beach, Coach Mac, Paul, etc. So yeah, I think the overall message is just thankful and very fortunate.
Well, good.
Well, I think a lot of, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Jeanette, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think a lot of his success was due to his drive because he always wanted to have, be the best. And he practiced and practiced and practiced. Like that pitching, the whole thing down in the basement, he was down there all the time. And even in high school, kids would say, your son is so good. I wish I could be like him, blah, blah, blah. I go, well, you know what? Every day when he gets home, he's down there practicing. If it's nice outside, he's outside practicing. And that's the way he is now with golf. Like he's always practicing. So it doesn't necessarily come natural. It's something that he has the drive to do. And in high school, he got the tenacity award in his senior year from all his coaches, because he's so determined and he never wanted to let his team down. So even in high school, he was so sick in the winter for basketball season, and he had to be to school by 8:58 so he could play that game, even though he was so sick. And that's just the way he is.
And if I can add to that too, he used to invite our high school teammates over, and we used to go over after school and hit from the moment that we got out of school until either the radio ran out of batteries or we ran out of daylight. So it wasn't just him. He made the people around him a lot better too.
Well, good thoughts. Sure, let's go around the horn like we always do in a baseball game, and we'll start with Dad. Art, any last comments or anything to add here before we close out?
Just that I am so proud of Wesley. His mom and I, we tried to give him the tools that he needed to succeed. He took the tools and he pushed himself to be as good as he did. He really did. I mean, just his work ethic. If more Americans were like Wesley, we'd have a super great country, not just a great one.
Okay, awesome. Jeanette, any last comments, Jeanette?
No, I am. I'm very proud of him, and even in his job, he's so successful, and that's just his drive. So we're very proud.
Coach Ludden.
Yeah, Wes, it was an honor, man. Congratulations. You're on that list with some really, really good baseball players, and you deserve to be at the top of it. And it was really cool to watch you play. And we'll have to hit the link sometime with your cousin Derek.
Hit the links.
Sure.
We still haven't played basketball for Pepsi. So, Coach Beach, any parting comments?
Yeah, again, I mean, everybody said it, but it's super awesome to see Wes grow from a kid who came to our baseball camp who struggled to handle his emotions because he wanted to perform so well to a man that's doing great things outside of the world of baseball. And I know it takes a village, as they say. So it's not just me or his parents or the people around, it's everybody. And the last thing I'll say was, I think the resources were there for you, Wes, and that was really great that your parents and everybody gave you those, but the time and effort that you put in is what is the reason that you are where you are. Like we always say, that it's not the bricks and the mortar, it's the people, and you're a special one. So we're really proud of you.
Well, the last comment from around the horn, the best man, Greg. Any parting shots?
Yeah, might as well try out a few jokes here before my best man. Obviously, I'm really proud of you, Wes. I always have been. We've seen each other through this entire thing, but it's always been really apparent to me, and especially after college, that this is just the way that you live your life. Baseball was part of your life, and you were obsessed with getting better and achieving in baseball. Every single day you put forth effort to that, and now you are putting that towards other things. And I'm really excited for what you have in store and how you're going to earn your first $1 million.
Well, listen, let me say one last comment, and then we'll have the guest here. You know, Wes, you're quite a person, friend, confidant. I can remember asking you, okay, you or Greg, you know, what do you think? What do you want to do in this game? And you came up to me one game, Coach, I need to sit. My hand, this was our second summer season, you had an injury. And you took yourself out of the lineup for the betterment of the team. And you took a rest there. You emotionally let the air out of your tires, and you came back and hit that grand slam, you know, after that rest period there. So I truly always have looked at all three of you guys as sons in the summer. Wesley, we've had some special moments too. So thank you for what you've done in baseball and in life. And we will play for Pepsi's possibly on the golf course. We'll go to Casanova and let Coach Ludden host us over there, or up to Brockport. So Wes, I'll turn it over to you before I turn the camera off. We can chit chat for a minute.
Yeah, just thanks everyone for hopping on this call. It was just not only was it's an honor for this award and to do the Zoom call with you, but with everyone here. This was just really a special moment. Couldn't have done with all of you guys, so I just want to say thank you again.
You're welcome. And to our Crush fans here, we're going to sign off. You'll see this and more of these players and alumni hopefully this summer. So take care and let's crush it in 21.